Mathabar Singh Thapa was born on 1798 AD in Borlang, Gorkha. Mathabar Singh Thapa was the son of Qazi Nian Singh Thapa. In 1807 AD, Nian Singh Thapa, a warrior of Kangra Fort, was shot dead during the unification of the western fort of Nepal, making Mathabar Singh Thapa an orphan at an early age of 8. Mathabar Singh Thapa belongs to the Bagali Thapa clan. Mathabar Singh Thapa's great-grandfather from his mother's side was Ranjit Pandey, who was brother of Kalu Pandey. Mathabar Singh Thapa was the nephew of Bhimsen Thapa, and Janga Bahadur Rana was his own sister's son. His siblings were Maharani Lalit Tripura Sundari, Uzair Singh Thapa, Ganesh Kumari, and Colonel Shrejang. As Mathabar Singh Thapa belongs to Mathar's family, he became captain at an early age of 19, and his big brother Uzair Singh Thapa had gone to Palpa to become a colonel. In the Nepal-British War of 1814 to 1816 AD, along with his big brother Uzair Singh Thapa, Mathabar Singh Thapa also showed special bravery as the post of captain. Mathabar Singh Thapa, the nephew of Bhimsen Thapa, fled to Simla, India after the execution of Bhimsen Thapa. It was getting difficult for the king Rajendra Shah to rule the country Nepal. 4 years later, the second queen of King Rajendra, Queen Rajya Lakshmi, called Mathabar Singh Thapa back to Nepal and installed Mathabar Singh Thapa as the Mukhtiar. Mathabar Singh Thapa was considered as the eldest, wisest, and most pious member of the powerful Thapa family. Thus, Mathabar Singh Thapa was invited by the youngest queen from India. Mathabar Singh Thapa's nephew, Qazi Janga Bahadur Kunwar, was sent to persuade his uncle Mathabar Singh Thapa, after which Mathabar Singh Thapa arrived in Kathmandu Valley in April 1843 AD. Mathabar Singh Thapa arrived on 17th April 1843 AD, where a great welcome was organized for him. Mathabar Singh Thapa, living in a public rest house, constantly urged that Mathabar Singh Thapa would not enter Mathabar Singh Thapa's residence in Kathmandu until the framed charge against Mathabar Singh Thapa's family and Bhimsen Thapa be released. At first, he did not readily accept the position of the authority given by the king and demanded an investigation into the stigma attached to his uncle Bhimsen Thapa and his clan. In July 1843, the case was rediscussed at the council in front of King Rajendra and Queen Rajya Lakshmi, where Thapa family were declared innocent and their confiscated properties were restored. It was also declared that the poisoning cases was framed by the Pandeys family. Mathabar Singh Thapa poisoned the already insane Rana Jung Pandey after publicly disgracing him. In November 1843, Mathabar Singh Thapa became Mukhtiar as well as Minister and Commander-in-Chief of the Nepalese Army. Mathabar Singh Thapa tragically avenged the humiliating death of his uncle Mukhtiar Bhimsen Thapa against the Pandey dynasty. Mathabar Singh Thapa had executed the Pandeys at Basantapur Chowk. Mathabar Singh Thapa retried the case of Bhimsen Thapa and proved him and other Thapa innocent. He took revenge on the Pandeys. Having seen the fall of Bhimsen Thapa, Mathabar Singh Thapa believed that having a personal army would prevent his own downfall. So, Mathabar Singh Thapa founded 3 regiments dedicated to him and only him. He built army barracks around his house for his own personal protection. He created a new standing army for his own defense, which frightened the king and queen as well. Mathabar Singh Thapa had an attractive and influential personality. Regarding his personality, even foreign writers have compared him to a lion or an Afghan citizen. Mathabar Singh Thapa was a lion in the herd of dogs in the court, and he was really a scary person. Mathabar Singh Thapa has done some memorable things in Nepal since he became the Prime Minister. Even in a short period of time, he built barracks, renovated old monasteries, pavilions, and built some new temples. He had donated a 75 ropani land in the name of Bhagwati temple near a tower in Kathmandu, including a golden gajur, and built magnificent Bhim Mukteshwar temple on the banks of Vishnumati, now Kalimati, in the name of his uncle Bhimsen Thapa. Queen Rajya Lakshmi, who had ambitions of making her own son Prince Ranendra as the king of Nepal with Mathabar Singh Thapa's help. When Mathabar Singh Thapa declined the queen's request to help her make her own son king, the queen joined those against Mathabar Singh Thapa and plotted Mathabar Singh Thapa's downfall. But just to appease Mathabar Singh Thapa, he was provided the title of Prime Minister, while conspiracy to murder Mathabar Singh Thapa was going on behind. Mathabar Singh Thapa's relation with the king deteriorated as time goes on. The king was angry as Mathabar Singh Thapa wanted the king to hand it over the throne to the prince as to save prince from queen's conspiracy. Mathabar Singh Thapa refused to go against the right of Surendra Bikram to be king according to the religion and justice. So Queen Rajya Lakshmi Devi was angry with him as well. Also, as Mathabar Singh Thapa was called to Nepal from India by Rani Lakshmi Devi, even Prince Surendra did not trust him completely. To get rid of Mathabar Singh Thapa, the queen's favorite person, Gagan Singh, and Mathabar Singh Thapa's own nephew, Janga Bahadur, began a plot to kill Mathabar Singh Thapa. Finally, on 17th May 1845, when all the preparation for Mathabar Singh Thapa's murder were made, he was called to royal palace at night, informing Mathabar Singh Thapa incorrectly that the queen had been ill from some kind of disease. Though Mathabar Singh Thapa was warned by his own son and his mother, he went to the palace alone. Straight-minded Mathabar Singh Thapa went alone inside the palace without a guard and saw the king. While he was talking with the king, his own nephew, Janga Bahadur, who was hiding behind the curtain, shot Mathabar Singh Thapa and Mathabar Singh Thapa collapsed. Mathabar Singh Thapa was shot multiple times on his back by Janga Bahadur Rana, where Mathabar Singh Thapa immediately died. Some have reported that the king kicked his dead body. His body was thrown through a window wrapped in a sheet. His body was cremated that night with no one's knowledge. Mathabar Singh Thapa was as brave as lion but had to be killed by cowards. The next day, King Rajendra declared that he had himself killed Mathabar Singh Thapa, accusing Mathabar Singh Thapa of several activities that he had done to undermine his own power. Fateh Jung Shah was declared the Prime Minister. At the time of incident took place at the palace, Mathabar Singh's son was playing dice in his home awaiting his father's return. Giving the impression that Janga Bahadur Rana was detached from the conspiracy, Qazi Janga Bahadur Rana sent a message to Mathabar Singh Thapa's son through his brother Ranodip Singh Kunwar to flee abroad before sunrise. Mathabar Singh Thapa's young sons did not dare to take revenge, and in the greed of saving all their wealth, they crossed border of Nepal in the middle of the night. Ranodip Singh Kunwar helped them reach the borders of the Kingdom of Nepal. The female members of the family also fled from their palace the next day with the remaining gold and silver, leaving only their real estate, all of which was confiscated. Thank you.